Hey everyone, Dr. Mike here. And let me tell you, I've seen a lot of crazy things in my years of practicing medicine. But some of the wildest stuff isn't found in textbooks. It's found inside the human body. We're talking about objects lodged in places you wouldn't believe, things people have accidentally, or sometimes intentionally, ingested, and even medical anomalies that sound like they're straight out of a sci-fi movie. So buckle up, because today, we're diving deep into the top 10 craziest things found in the human body. From everyday objects to bizarre growths, these stories will leave you speechless and maybe a little squeamish. Get ready to be amazed because some of these discoveries are hard to believe even for a doctor like me. Imagine going to the doctor with stomach pain, only to find out you have a fork lodged inside you. Sounds unbelievable, right? Well, that's exactly what happened to a woman in Australia. This isn't just some freak accident where someone accidentally swallowed a fork in one gulp. She lived with the fork in her stomach for over a decade. Can you imagine the discomfort and potential complications? It's mind-boggling how something like this could go unnoticed for so long. This case is a testament to the incredible adaptability of the human body, but also a stark reminder to be careful about what you put in your mouth. Let's just say, she probably had to change her eating habits quite a bit with an unexpected utensil taking up residence in her stomach. Now, you're probably wondering how on earth a fork ends up in someone's stomach in the first place. Well, in this case, the woman claimed she had accidentally swallowed it while eating. You sure? I know what you're thinking. How do you accidentally swallow a fork? It sounds far-fetched, but it's a good reminder that even the most bizarre medical cases often have simpler explanations than we might imagine. The removal process, however, was anything but simple. It required a team of skilled surgeons to carefully extract the fork, ensuring no further damage was done. This story is a wild ride from start to finish, and it makes you wonder what other surprises people are walking around with inside them. Get ready for this one because it's about to get weird. Have you ever heard of tumors that grow hair and teeth? As strange as it sounds, they're a real thing. These bizarre growths are called teratomas, and they're like something out of a bad horror movie. Imagine finding out you have a tumor, and then learning that it contains fully developed tissues like hair, teeth, and even bones. Teratomas typically occur in ovaries, testicles, and the tailbone. They develop from germ cells, which are the cells in our bodies that give rise to eggs and sperm. These cells have the potential to develop into any type of cell in the body, which explains why teratomas can contain such a bizarre mix of tissues. The exact cause of teratomas is still unknown, but scientists believe it's related to errors that occur during cell division and differentiation. And sometimes things go wrong in the manufacturing process. In this case, instead of producing normal cells, it creates a jumbled mass of different tissues. While most teratomas are benign, meaning they're not cancerous, they can still cause problems depending on their size and location. Imagine having a tumor the size of a grapefruit growing hair and teeth inside you. Thankfully, with early detection and treatment, most teratomas can be successfully removed. Alright folks, buckle up because this next one is truly unbelievable. We're talking about a real-life ticking time bomb inside a human body. During the chaos of World War II, a soldier found himself in a situation more intense than any action movie. Imagine being in the trenches, the air thick with smoke and fear, and suddenly you're injured. But it's not a bullet. This soldier had a live grenade lodged inside him. I can't even begin to imagine the sheer terror he must have felt. This wasn't just a flesh wound, this was a highly volatile explosive threatening to detonate at any moment. One wrong move, one tiny jolt, and it could have been over. Talk about a stressful situation. The medical team was facing an unprecedented challenge. They couldn't just pull it out. That would have been catastrophic. This required nerves of steel, expert precision, and a whole lot of bravery. The pressure was immense. Not only were they dealing with a life hanging by a thread, but the lives of everyone around them were also at stake. It was a race against time, and the stakes couldn't have been higher. Enter the bomb disposal unit, the unsung heroes of this story. These brave individuals risked their own lives to save this soldier. They carefully assessed the situation, knowing one wrong move could spell disaster. With meticulous care and steady hands, they began the delicate process of disarming and extracting the grenade. Can you imagine the tension in that room? Every second must have felt like an eternity. Miraculously, they did it. They successfully removed the grenade, saving the soldier's life and preventing a potential tragedy. This is a testament to the incredible skill and courage of those who serve in the medical field, especially during wartime. Now, this next story sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, but I assure you, it's very real. We're talking about a man in Russia who went to the doctor complaining of chest pain. Pretty standard, right? Well, what they found was anything but ordinary. Get this, inside this man's lung was a small fir tree, growing. Yes, you heard that right, a tree. It seems our bodies are full of surprises, but this one takes the cake. It's not every day you hear about someone having their own personal arboretum in their respiratory system. Doctors believe he must have inhaled a tiny seed at some point, and instead of being coughed out, it found a cozy spot in his lung and decided to take root. Talk about finding fertile ground. This just goes to show the incredible resilience of nature. Even in the most unexpected of places, life finds a way. It also makes you wonder, what else is lurking in the depths of our bodies? Imagine the surprise of the medical team when they performed the surgery and pulled out a sprig of evergreen. I'm sure they had to do a double take. It's not every day you get to tell a patient, "We removed a tree from your lungs." Thankfully, the surgery was a success, and the man made a full recovery. I can only imagine his relief, not only to be free of the pain, but also to know he wasn't harboring a botanical garden in his chest. This story is a powerful reminder that our bodies are complex and mysterious. So next time you're out in nature, maybe think twice before taking a deep breath. You never know what might decide to put down roots. We've all been there, absent-mindedly putting things in our mouths, a pen while deep in thought, a fingernail when nervous. But this next story takes that to a whole new level. Imagine swallowing a pen and completely forgetting about it for 25 years. That's exactly what happened to a woman in England. This wasn't just a little pen cap, mind you. We're talking a full-sized writing pen that somehow made its way down her esophagus and took up residence in her stomach. Now, you might be thinking, how do you forget about swallowing something like that? Well, it seems our bodies have a funny way of adapting. She experienced no symptoms, no discomfort, nothing. It's incredible to think that something so out of place could go unnoticed for so long. It wasn't until she started experiencing some abdominal pain that she went to the doctor, and even then, she never suspected the true culprit. This just goes to show, sometimes the human body is stranger than fiction. The doctors were stunned when an X-ray revealed the outline of a pen lodged in her stomach. It was a medical mystery that had them scratching their heads. How did it get there? And how did she not notice? Of course, the next step was to remove the pen, which they did successfully. But here's the kicker. The pen was still functional. After 25 years of swimming in stomach acid, it still worked. Talk about a durable writing instrument. This story really makes you appreciate the resilience of some everyday objects. I'm sure the pen company would have a field day with this testimonial. This case is a wild reminder that our bodies are capable of adapting to some pretty strange situations. It also highlights the importance of paying attention to our bodies and seeking medical attention when something feels off, even if it takes 25 years. Alright guys, buckle up because this next one is going to make your stomach churn. We're talking about a massive hairball, and I mean massive, found inside a teenager's stomach. You see, this isn't your average run-of-the-mill hairball that you might find from your cat mittens. This thing was the size of a watermelon. This condition is called trichobizor, and it happens when someone has a habit of eating their hair. I know, it sounds crazy, but it's a real thing, and it can have some serious consequences. Imagine having something that big taking up space in your stomach. The poor teenager had been experiencing symptoms like stomach pain, nausea, and vomiting for months. Can you imagine feeling that awful for so long? Thankfully, doctors were finally able to figure out what was going on and remove the giant hairball. This story serves as a good reminder that we should always be mindful of what we put in our bodies, and if you or someone you know is struggling with hair pulling or eating, please reach out for help. So, how does a hairball like this even form, you ask? Well, it all comes down to the fact that our bodies can't digest hair. When we eat hair, it just sits in the stomach, and over time it can clump together with other undigested food and form a solid mass. In some cases, these hairballs can get so big that they completely block the digestive tract, leading to serious complications. Imagine a giant wad of hair clogging up your insides. Not a pretty picture, right? That's why it's crucial to seek medical attention, if you experience persistent stomach pain, nausea, vomiting, or difficulty eating. These could be signs of a trichobezoar or other digestive issues that need to be addressed. Remember guys, your health is your wealth. Let's prioritize our well-being and stay informed about these strange things that can happen inside our bodies. We've all heard of hiding the engagement ring in a dessert, right? It's a classic, albeit slightly cheesy, proposal tactic. But what happens when the ring ends up getting swallowed instead of slipped onto the finger? That's exactly what happened to one unlucky guy in the UK. Picture this, romantic dinner, candles, he's about to pop the question, and BAM! The ring disappears down his throat. Talk about a mood killer, right? I can only imagine the look on his face and the shock on his girlfriend's face. It went from a beautiful moment to a frantic dash to the emergency room. Thankfully, this story has a happy ending. The ring was successfully located and removed, and I'm sure he learned his lesson about hiding jewelry and food. As a doctor, I've seen my fair share of strange things, but this one is definitely up there. It's a good reminder that accidents can happen, and sometimes things get lodged in places they shouldn't be. It's important to remember that if something does get stuck in your throat, don't try to force it down or induce vomiting. It's crucial to seek medical attention immediately to avoid any potential complications. And hey, if you're planning a proposal, maybe stick to presenting the ring in a more traditional way. Trust me, your future fiancé will appreciate it. Hold on to your hats, folks, because this next case is going to blow your mind. We're talking about a man in Florida who had a 4-inch nail embedded in his skull. And the craziest part? He didn't even know it. This guy just thought he had a really bad headache. I mean, I get headaches too, but a 4-inch nail in the skull? That's a whole other level of pain tolerance. Can you imagine walking around with a nail in your head? It's absolutely wild. Eventually, the pain got so bad that he went to the hospital, and that's when doctors made the shocking discovery. Thankfully, they were able to surgically remove the nail, and the man made a full recovery. Talk about dodging a bullet, or should I say, dodging a nail. Now, you're probably wondering how on earth a 4-inch nail ends up lodged in someone's skull without them realizing it. Well, in this particular case, it turns out the man had been doing some construction work and had accidentally shot himself in the head with a nail gun. Apparently, the nail had gone in at an angle that didn't cause any immediate, life-threatening symptoms. It's incredible how resilient the human body can be, but it's also a stark reminder of how important safety precautions are, especially when working with power tools. This story serves as a cautionary tale about the importance of workplace safety and seeking medical attention when something doesn't feel right, even if you think you might be overreacting. You never know, it could be something as wild as a nail in your head. Alright guys, picture this. You're in rural India and you've got a stomachache, pretty common, right? You might think it's something you ate, maybe some bad water. But for one elderly gentleman, the cause of his discomfort was far more unexpected. We're talking about a snake, people. Yes, you heard that right. A live snake had somehow found its way into this man's stomach. Now I know what you're thinking. How on earth does that even happen? The details are a little fuzzy, but it's believed the snake might have slithered in while the man was sleeping with his mouth open. I know. It sounds crazy. But hey, the human body is full of surprises. This case just proves that sometimes, the truth is stranger than fiction. The craziest part? This isn't an isolated incident. There have been other documented cases of snakes finding their way into various orifices of the human body. It's enough to make you want to sleep in a hazmat suit. Seriously though, if you're ever traveling in areas known for snakes, it's always a good idea to take precautions. Sleep under a mosquito net. Be mindful of where you put your hands and feet. You know the drill. So back to our friend in India. You're probably wondering how in the world doctors managed to get that snake out of there. It wasn't easy, that's for sure. This wasn't your average endoscopy. It required a team of skilled surgeons, specialized equipment, and nerves of steel. Thankfully, they were able to successfully remove the snake, and the man made a full recovery. It's a testament to the incredible skill and ingenuity of medical professionals around the world. They really do see it all. This story serves as a reminder that even in this day and age, nature finds a way to surprise us. It's a jungle out there, people, and sometimes that jungle can be found a little too close to home. Let's jet set over to Brazil for our next case, where we meet a man with an unusual appetite. I'm talking about a guy who had a serious craving for gold. And no, I don't mean in the I love gold jewelry kind of way, I'm talking about literally swallowing gold. This story came to light when the man went to the hospital complaining of severe abdominal pain. Now doctors see a lot of things, but even they were shocked by what they found on his x-ray. It wasn't a tumor, an ulcer, or even your run-of-the-mill swallowed object. This man's gut was literally filled with gold teeth and jewelry. You can imagine the doctors' faces. It was like something out of an Indiana Jones movie. The questions started flying. How did this happen? Was it intentional? Is this some kind of bizarre treasure hunt? But the answers were even stranger than the initial shock. As it turned out, the man had a history of mental illness and had apparently been swallowing gold objects for quite some time. It's unclear whether he believed he was gaining some sort of benefit from it, or if it was purely compulsive behavior. Regardless of the reason, the situation was serious. The sheer amount of foreign material in his digestive system was life-threatening. It could have caused blockages, perforations, and a whole host of other complications. This case highlights the importance of mental health awareness and the unexpected ways it can manifest. It's a reminder that behind every medical mystery, there's a human story, and sometimes those stories are stranger than anything we could imagine. Wow! We've seen some crazy stuff today, haven't we? From forks in stomachs to snakes setting up camp in intestines, the human body is truly capable of enduring some bizarre circumstances. And let's not forget about the guy who thought gold was a food group. We've explored the strange, the shocking, and the downright unbelievable things that doctors have found lurking inside the human body. These stories remind us that the human body is a complex and resilient machine, capable of withstanding some pretty incredible things. But they also highlight the importance of being mindful of our health and seeking medical attention when something feels off. So, what did you guys think was the craziest find? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more mind-blowing medical mysteries. Until next time, stay curious, stay healthy, and never underestimate the strangeness of the human body.